Before we begin, I want to know where you are listening from tonight. What country? What city? And what time is it there right now? Leave your location and the hour in the comments below. It fascinates me how many corners of the world tune in to explore these ancient mysteries together. If you are new here, welcome to Echoes of the Ancients. Subscribe now and turn on notifications so you never miss our explorations into forgotten history. Tonight we ask a question that may disturb everything you believe about this world. A question hidden in the oldest texts humanity possesses. What if Earth is not our home? What if this planet we walk upon was designed not as paradise, but as containment? What if we live inside a planet-sized prison? The Sumerian texts, carved into clay over 5,000 years ago, describe our world in terms that sound disturbingly like incarceration. Tonight, we trace what they actually said. We must be careful with claims this large. The suggestion that Earth functions as a prison sounds like paranoia, like conspiracy thinking run wild. So let us proceed carefully. The Sumerians did not use the word prison. They had no concept matching our modern penal institutions. What they described was something else. Boundaries, limits, containment systems operating at cosmic scale. These descriptions appear throughout their texts, not as metaphor, not as poetry, but as matter-of-fact accounts of how reality was structured, how the world was built, how existence was organized. The uncomfortable question is not whether they believed this. They clearly did. The uncomfortable question is whether they were describing something real that we have forgotten. Tonight we will trace these descriptions carefully. We will follow where the texts lead. We will sit with the discomfort this creates, and we will let you decide what to make of it. Some truths are uncomfortable. The possibility that our entire existence occurs within designed containment falls into this category. But discomfort does not determine truth. Evidence does. The Sumerians described reality as layered. Heaven above, earth in the middle, the underworld below. 3 realms stacked upon each other. This sounds familiar because later traditions inherited it. But the Sumerian version contains details the later versions lost. The layers were not just locations. They were zones with different rules, different access requirements, different governing powers. Movement between layers was controlled. Not everyone could travel from Earth to heaven. Not everyone could descend to the underworld and return. The boundaries were real barriers, not symbolic divisions. This is prison architecture. Zones with controlled access, movement restricted by permission, different areas governed by different authorities. The structure of containment present from the foundation. The heavens were called On. The earth was called Ki. Together they formed An-Ki, the universe. But An-Ki was itself contained within something larger. The boundaries extended beyond what we typically consider. The Sumerians spoke of what existed before An-Ki was separated, the primordial state before structure was imposed. This suggests the current arrangement was constructed, built, designed for purpose. If the cosmos was constructed, the question becomes, constructed for what purpose? And by whom? The Sumerian answers to these questions are what make the prison interpretation unavoidable. The Anunnaki appear throughout Sumerian texts as the beings who established order. They separated heaven from earth. They organized the cosmos. They installed the systems that govern existence. The word Anunnaki means those of royal blood or princely offspring. They were not born from the cosmos. They came from somewhere else, outside the system they created. This is crucial. The architects of the prison came from outside it. They built the containment structure, but were not originally contained by it. They had access to what lies beyond. The texts describe the Anunnaki assigning roles and domains. This god governs this. That power controls that. The cosmos was organized like an institution, departments and responsibilities clearly defined. Prison administration follows this same logic. Wardens for different sections, guards with different duties, a hierarchical system where every function is assigned to specific personnel. The Anunnaki did not just create the physical structure. They created the rules. The Me, the divine powers that govern everything from kingship to music to the descent to the underworld. Operating protocols for the containment system. Everything humanity learned, according to these texts, was taught by the Anunnaki. We did not discover civilization. It was given to us, installed in us, programmed into our culture by those who built the system. The creation of humanity takes on different meaning in this context. According to Sumerian texts, humans were created to work, to relieve the Anunnaki of labor, to serve functions within the system. The word used for the first humans, Lulu, means mixed one. Humanity was created by mixing, divine essence combined with earthly material, something from outside the prison placed inside biological containers. This describes prisoners, not citizens, beings created for institutional function, not born into a world of freedom, but manufactured for service. Our very existence designed for containment purposes. The text described the creation process in disturbing detail. Experimentation, failures, adjustments. The early attempts did not work properly. The manufacturing process required refinement. This is not the language of loving creation. This is the language of engineering, of industrial production, of designing a product that serves a function. Humanity as manufactured population. The gods rejoiced when humans successfully took over their labor. The relief was not spiritual. It was practical. The workforce was now operational. The prison had its population. We inherit this origin. Whatever we are, we were made for purposes that served the makers, not us. Our design reflects their needs. Our capacities match what they wanted us capable of doing. Nothing more. Beneath the surface world lay the Abzu. Usually translated as the freshwater deep, the Abzu was Enki's domain. But its description suggests something far more significant than an underground ocean. The Abzu was where Enki worked, where he performed the operations that shaped reality. It contained powers and capabilities that existed nowhere else. It was the control center. Every prison has a basement level, infrastructure that makes everything else function. Power systems, control rooms, processing facilities. The Abzu may have been Earth's prison basement. Access to the Abzu was restricted. Not everyone could enter. Not everyone could survive there. The restrictions sound like security protocols. Clearance required for entry. From the Abzu, Enki could affect the surface world, influence events above, make changes to the system. The control room connected to everything, even when hidden from view. If Earth is a prison, the Abzu represents the deep infrastructure, the systems beneath the surface that maintain containment, the mechanisms we cannot see, but which govern everything we experience. We live on the surface, unaware of what operates below. The Abzu continues, whatever it is. The infrastructure persists. The foundation of containment remains in place, hidden and functional. The surface world may be the public area of the prison, the controlled environment where prisoners live their lives. Below it, the machinery, the systems, the architecture we never access. The Kur appears in Sumerian texts as the cosmic mountain, the boundary at the edge of the world. But the concept extends beyond geography into something more fundamental. The Kur was the place of no return. What went there did not come back. The boundary was not just difficult to cross, it was final, the edge of existence itself. Every prison has walls. The Kur may represent Earth's walls on a cosmic scale, not physical barriers we can see, but the boundary of containment, the limit beyond which we cannot pass. The gods themselves respected the Kur. Even powerful beings did not casually cross this boundary. The containment contained even the administrators. The wardens were inside their own prison. This detail matters deeply. If the Anunnaki themselves were constrained by the Kur, they were not simply visiting. They were trapped here too, in some sense. Administrators who could not fully leave. The Kur surrounded everything accessible to normal existence, above, below, in all directions. Whatever lay beyond it was unreachable. The containment was complete. We experience the Kur constantly without recognizing it, the limits of what we can reach, the boundaries of what we can perceive, the edges of reality that constrain all exploration. Perfect containment is invisible containment. When the prison is everything you know, escape becomes inconceivable. There is no outside to escape to. The boundary is total. The most detailed description of containment structure appears in the descent narratives. Inanna's journey to the underworld describes 7 gates, each requiring passage. At each gate, Inanna surrendered something: her crown, her jewelry, her royal garments. By the time she reached the bottom, she had been stripped of everything, naked and powerless. This is processing. Prison intake procedure elevated to cosmic principle. The systematic removal of identity. The reduction to bare existence. Every institution of containment uses similar methods. The 7 gates did not only govern descent, they also governed return. Rising back required passing through each gate again. The system controlled movement in both directions. 7 is significant across ancient traditions. 7 days of creation, 7 heavens in later cosmology, 7 visible planets. The number appears constantly, perhaps because 7 represented structural layers. Each gate had a guardian. Each guardian had authority. The system was not automated. It required conscious agents to operate. Beings who maintained the boundaries and processed those who passed. If Earth exists within 7 layers of containment, we occupy the innermost level. The surface world is the deepest chamber, the most restricted zone, the final destination of the descent. Escape would require passing all 7 gates. Each would exact its price. Each would challenge whoever attempted the ascent. the system was designed to make departure extraordinarily difficult. The Mi were divine powers or decrees that governed specific domains of existence. But their description sounds remarkably like access protocols, permissions that enable specific actions. The Mi included kingship, priesthood, truth, descent to the underworld, sexual intercourse, music, writing, and dozens of other specific capabilities. Each Mi controlled a domain. Possession of the Mi meant authority over that domain. Without the appropriate Mi, certain things simply could not be done, like lacking security clearance for certain operations. The Mi could be transferred. Inanna famously acquired many Mi from Enki through trickery. She got him drunk, and he gave them to her. When he sobered and realized what he had done, it was too late. But stealing the Mi did not break the system. It redistributed control within it. The prison remained. Only the administration changed. The structure persisted beyond individual manipulation. We may still operate under systems descended from the Mi, the hierarchies that govern society, the permissions that determine what each person can and cannot do, the protocols that structure everything. The Mi represented the operating system of containment, the software running on the hardware of cosmic structure, the rules that governed what happened within the prison. Changing the Mi meant changing the rules. But changing the rules did not mean escaping the system. The game could be modified. The game could not be exited. The containment persisted. The Sumerian underworld, called Kur or Irkalla, was not a place of punishment for sin. It was where everyone went after death, the universal destination regardless of how one lived. This differs radically from later traditions that sorted the dead by moral merit. The Sumerians did not describe judgment. They described processing. Everyone went to the same place. The underworld was described as a dark, dusty place. Not torment exactly, but not pleasant. A kind of maintenance mode, where the dead existed in diminished form, awaiting something. The living could visit the underworld and return, but only with difficulty. The journey required navigating the 7 gates. The return required permission and assistance. Nothing was easy. If the underworld was a processing center, the processing served some purpose. What happened to the dead there? The texts suggest they were held, maintained, perhaps prepared for something. The concept of recycling appears in this context. Souls that could be returned to the surface. Reincarnation as prison transfer. New body, new cell, continuing sentence. The forgetting that accompanies rebirth serves the system. Prisoners who remember previous lives accumulate awareness across incarnations. Forgetting resets the awareness. The recycling stays fresh. We may have passed through the underworld many times, each death a return to processing, each rebirth an assignment to new containment. The cycle continuing across ages. The flood narrative appears in Sumerian texts as a deliberate decision by the gods, not divine wrath against sin, but calculated population reduction. System reset. The god Enlil grew frustrated with humanity. Too noisy, too numerous, too troublesome. The population had exceeded manageable parameters. Something had to be done. The solution was elimination. Flood the world, destroy the population, start over with better controlled numbers. Prison riots suppressed through overwhelming force. Enki disagreed. He warned Ziusudra, the Sumerian Noah, to build a boat, to preserve life through the catastrophe. The administrators did not agree on management approach. The flood killed most of humanity. Those who survived did so through intervention by one faction of administrators. Not divine mercy, but internal disagreement among wardens. After the flood, new protocols were established, new limits on human lifespan, new systems of control. The prison was reformed. Better management to prevent future population crises. The rainbow as covenant in later traditions represents the new arrangement. The reformed system. The promise that this particular method of population control would not be used again. We live in the post-flood prison. The reformed system. Whatever changes were made after the reset, they have held for thousands of years. The current containment works better than what preceded it. Though the Babel story comes from the Hebrew tradition, its Mesopotamian context places it within this framework. Unified humanity attempted to reach heaven, build a tower to the sky. The response was immediate. Languages confused. People scattered. The coordination that enabled the attempt was destroyed. Classic security response to escape attempt. United humanity posed a threat, not because of pride or arrogance, but because coordination enables action. Prisoners who cannot communicate cannot organize. Division serves containment. The scattering of languages created the divisions we still experience. National boundaries, cultural barriers, the difficulty of coordination across linguistic lines, all descended from Babel. These divisions serve containment purposes. They prevent the unified action that could challenge the system. They keep the population fragmented into manageable groups. Every attempt at human unity faces these inherited barriers. The systems installed after Babel continue operating. Coordination remains difficult. Unity remains elusive. The prison was escape-proofed at Babel, not through stronger walls, but through internal division. Prisoners who cannot unite cannot threaten the structure. The fracturing was permanent. We inherit this fracturing. We struggle to coordinate. We fail to unify. The response to Babel continues working exactly as intended. The containment holds through division. At some point, according to various traditions, the gods withdrew from direct involvement. They became distant, hidden, operating through intermediaries rather than direct presence. This withdrawal puzzles many traditions. Why would gods who once walked among humanity suddenly disappear? The prison framework offers an explanation. Wardens do not need to be constantly present in a well-designed facility. Once the systems are established, the prison runs itself. Inmates manage their own containment. The gods withdrew because the system was complete. Self-maintaining, self-enforcing. Humanity had internalized the controls. External enforcement became unnecessary. Religion took over the management function. Priests administered the belief systems that maintained compliance. The wardens trained prisoners to guard themselves, then departed. We live in the era of absent administrators. The system runs on autopilot. The containment continues without visible enforcement. We maintain the prison ourselves. Occasional interventions still occur, perhaps. Moments when the boundary is tested and something responds. But routine management has been delegated to the population itself. This is efficient containment. The prisoners believe they are free because no guards are visible. They maintain the system because they have identified with it. Self-perpetuating incarceration. The Sumerian king list declares that kingship descended from heaven. It was not a human invention. It was installed by the gods, given to humanity as organizational structure. Kingship organized humanity into hierarchies, rulers and ruled, those with authority and those who obeyed, the structure that made large populations manageable. This is prison administration logic. Hierarchy maintains order. Clear lines of authority prevent chaos. The population is organized for control, not freedom. The earliest kings were intermediaries between gods and humans. They received authority from above and exercised it below. Wardens appointed from within the prison population. As the gods withdrew, kings gained more independence. But the structure remained. The hierarchy persisted. The organizational pattern continued even when the original authorities departed. Modern governments descend from these ancient patterns. The hierarchical organization. The concentration of authority. The systems that manage populations. The prison administration evolved, but continues. We experience government as necessary, as natural, as how societies function. But if the original structure was prison management, we are experiencing the continuation of that management. Democracy changes who holds authority. It does not eliminate the hierarchy. The structure of management persists. The prison has reformed, but not dissolved. The most intimate level of containment may be the physical body itself. Consciousness confined to biological form. Experience filtered through flesh and nerve and bone. The Sumerian texts describe humanity being created in physical bodies for physical labor. The container was designed for function, for service, for containment of whatever we truly are. The body has strict limitations. We cannot pass through walls. We cannot fly without technology. We age, we sicken, we die. The body constrains everything consciousness can do. These limitations are presented as natural, the human condition, mortality. But what if they are designed constraints? What if the body is a cell that holds consciousness within strict limits? The body requires constant maintenance, food, water, rest. These requirements bind consciousness to physical survival. The cell demands attention even as it imprisons. Pain enforces compliance. The body punishes deviation from its requirements. Injury hurts. Hunger hurts. Fatigue degrades function. The cell has built-in enforcement mechanisms. Death seems to release consciousness from the body. But if the recycling system operates, death merely transfers consciousness to another cell. The escape from one body leads to imprisonment in another. The body is elegant containment. The prisoner identifies with the cell, protects it, feeds it, loves it. The container becomes confused with what it contains. Escape becomes self-destruction. We perceive reality through senses that have specific ranges. We see certain wavelengths. We hear certain frequencies. We sense only what our equipment can detect. But reality contains far more than we can perceive. Infrared exists though we cannot see it. Ultrasound exists though we cannot hear it. What else exists beyond our perceptual range? The limits of perception may be the most fundamental prison walls. not physical barriers, but boundaries of awareness itself. We cannot perceive what we are not equipped to perceive. If these perceptual limits were designed, they represent containment at the deepest level. We see exactly what we are meant to see, nothing more. The prison is invisible because we cannot perceive its walls. The Anunnaki, according to the texts, perceived differently. They saw what humans could not. They accessed dimensions beyond human range. The administrators could see the prison that inmates could not. Occasional experiences suggest perception can expand. Mystical states, altered consciousness, moments when the ordinary limits seem to lift. These may be glimpses past the perceptual walls, but such experiences are typically brief and difficult to verify. The perceptual boundaries reassert themselves. Normal vision returns. The prison walls close back in. We live within a perceptual cage that we mistake for the entirety of reality. What lies beyond our perception remains unknown. The containment is so complete that we cannot even see what contains us. Time moves in one direction within our experience. Forward, linear, irreversible. But is this the only way time could move? Or is this particular time a containment structure? The Sumerian texts describe the establishment of calendars, cycles organized, time measured and portioned. The organization of time was installed, not discovered. Prisons schedule their inmates. Time structures activity, controls when things happen, prevents unstructured existence that might enable escape planning. The sense of limited time creates urgency, running out of time, deadline approaching. The pressure of time passing drives activity. We work against the clock. What if time is not actually running out? What if the urgency is manufactured? Prisoners who feel time pressure do not pause to examine their situation. They participate now. Cyclical time, which some cultures experienced, feels different. Seasons return, patterns repeat. The urgency diminishes. Participation becomes less frantic. Linear time, with death at the end, maximizes productivity. Get what you can from the inmates before their time expires. The finite sentence motivates constant activity. But time may be more flexible than we experience it. Moments of transcendence suggest altered temporal experience. The prison's time may not be the only time available. We think in language. Our concepts are bounded by what our words can express. The limits of language may be limits of thought itself. The Sumerian texts describe language being given to humanity, words and grammar installed along with civilization itself, the tools of thought provided by the architects. If language was designed, it was designed with limitations. Certain things can be expressed, certain things cannot. The ineffable may be that which exceeds the designed capacity of language. Mystical traditions emphasize the limits of language. Ultimate truth cannot be spoken. The highest reality exceeds words. This may be accurate description of designed limitation. The confusion of languages at Babel compounded this. Not only is language limited, but languages divide. Communication across language barriers becomes difficult. Unity through shared understanding becomes impossible. We are trapped in language that shapes what we can think. The prison operates at the level of thought itself. The containment begins before we even conceive of escape. Silence may be the only way past language limitation. Thought without words. Awareness without concepts. Accessing what lies beneath the language layer. This is extraordinarily difficult. The difficulty may be the point. Language was installed as containment. The difficulty of escaping language is the difficulty of escaping the deepest level of the prison. Human memory is notoriously unreliable. We forget. We misremember. We construct narratives that may not match what occurred. Memory fails constantly. If memory were accurate, prisoners would accumulate grievances across lifetimes. The injustice of the prison would become undeniable. Resistance would intensify generation after generation. Forgetting serves the system. Each life begins relatively fresh. Previous experiences fade. The cycle can repeat indefinitely because the repetition is not clearly remembered. Even within single lives, memory management operates. Traumatic memories are suppressed. Inconvenient experiences fade. The mind shapes memory to maintain function. History itself is managed memory. What is recorded, what is preserved, what is taught. The official narrative shapes collective understanding of the past. The Sumerian texts themselves represent managed memory. What was written, what survived, what was translated and preserved. Our access to the past is heavily filtered. Complete memory might reveal the system entirely. Perfect recall of all previous lives. Full access to collective history. This would be devastating to containment. The limits of memory are not failures, but features. Designed limitations that prevent awareness from accumulating to the point of threatening the system. Economic systems structure virtually all human behavior. The need to earn, to acquire, to maintain. These needs direct most of what humans do. The Sumerian texts describe economic systems being established. Weights, measures, contracts, trade. These were installed by the gods, not invented by humans. Economy ensures participation without force. People follow the system's requirements because survival depends on it. Work or starve. Comply or lose access to resources. This is elegant containment. The prisoners feed themselves, but only through system participation. Resources flow only to those who maintain their role within the structure. Debt extends this control across time. It binds future behavior to present obligation. Debtors must continue participating to satisfy their debts. The chain extends into the future. The Sumerian texts contain early debt systems: interest, collateral, foreclosure. These concepts appear at the very beginning of recorded civilization. The containment included economic binding from the start. We experience economy as natural law, supply and demand, market forces, the way things work. But these may be designed mechanisms, prison economics disguised as universal principle. Economic freedom means freedom to choose how to participate. It does not mean freedom from participation. The prison allows movement within its structure, not exit from it. Religious systems emerged everywhere in the ancient world. Temples, priests, rituals, elaborate structures of worship and obligation. These systems organized human spiritual life. Through the prison lens, religion serves management functions. It provides framework for understanding existence that does not threaten the system. It answers questions in ways that maintain compliance. Divine authority legitimizes the structure. If the gods established the prison, questioning it becomes impiety. Resistance becomes sin. The system gains sacred protection. Religious reward systems manage behavior across lifetimes. Good prisoners receive better placement. Bad prisoners receive punishment. Behavior is shaped by promise and threat, extending beyond death. The priests who administered religion were also administrators of the prison. They maintained the ideological structure. They were wardens of belief. Religion provides meaning within the system. It does not point beyond it. The rewards it promises remain within the containment structure. Heaven is still inside the prison. The decline of traditional religion has not ended this function. New belief systems emerge, new frameworks that explain existence without challenging containment. The form changes, the function persists. True transcendence would exit the system entirely. What religion typically offers is better position within the system. Movement inside the prison, not escape from it. Prisons provide entertainment. Idle populations become dangerous. Occupied minds do not plan rebellion. Distraction serves containment. Human civilization perfected entertainment. Stories, games, sports, music, art. Endless content to engage attention. Endless occupation for consciousness. The stories we consume often reinforce containment. Heroes who succeed within the system. Adventures that never question fundamental structure. Entertainment that normalizes the prison. Occasionally a story points beyond. Art that suggests something more. Music that touches what the system did not install. These moments are valuable and rare. Modern entertainment technology has perfected distraction. Devices that capture attention continuously. Content streams that never end. We are more distracted than any previous generation of prisoners. This serves containment. Attention that could notice the bars is directed elsewhere. Awareness that could question is occupied. The prison becomes invisible through distraction. Boredom may be the beginning of awareness. When distraction fails, questions emerge. The restlessness our culture constantly medicates may be resistance to the distraction protocol. This evening's story is different. Not entertainment to distract, information to disturb. The discomfort is deliberate. Something in you should resist returning to passive consumption. The laws of physics function as walls. Light speed cannot be exceeded. Thermodynamic entropy increases. Gravity binds mass. These are the rules that govern existence. We experience these as natural law, discovered truths about how reality works. But what if they are designed constraints? The architecture of containment at the most fundamental level. The Sumerian texts describe the establishment of cosmic order. The heavens arranged, the earth stabilized, order imposed on chaos. This sounds like installation, not discovery. The constants of physics are remarkably fine-tuned. Change them slightly, and existence as we know it becomes impossible. This precision could be design rather than accident. If reality itself is the prison, escape requires transcending reality, not moving to another location within it, exiting the entire framework. This is what mystical traditions describe. The architecture of physical law is invisible when you live inside it. We do not perceive the constraints because they are too fundamental. They are the medium we exist within. But architecture can be studied. Limits can be mapped. The prison can be understood even from inside it. Understanding the structure is the first step toward anything else. Physics may describe the walls of our cell with perfect accuracy. The more we understand physics, the more precisely we understand our containment. Knowledge that illuminates while constraining. Despite everything, resistance persists. Throughout history, individuals and groups have pushed against containment, questioned the given, sought what lies beyond. The mystics who sought direct experience of transcendent reality. The philosophers who questioned the nature of existence. The scientists who probed the edges of the known. All forms of resistance. Most resistance fails to achieve escape. The system has operated for millennia against countless challenges. Individual efforts typically do not succeed, but they are not meaningless. Each attempt reveals something about the structure. Each failure provides information. Collective effort across generations may eventually enable breakthrough. The map fills in slowly. The information we share tonight comes from resistance, from those who questioned, from those who recorded what they learned. We stand on countless shoulders. The prison has survived resistance for thousands of years. It may survive our resistance, too. But resistance is not about winning. It is about appropriate response to recognized imprisonment. Awareness spreading is itself resistance. Each person who recognizes containment changes the collective situation. Consciousness that sees the prison weakens the prison's invisibility. Continue questioning, in whatever way suits you, whatever your capacity allows. The resistance needs every participant, including you, wherever you are listening tonight. If Earth is a prison, escape becomes the central question. Is it possible? What would it require? What would it mean to exit containment? Ancient traditions describe beings who achieved liberation, enlightened ones who transcended the cycle, ascended masters who exited the system. These accounts may describe actual escape. The methods described vary. Meditation that dissolves the boundaries of self. Gnosis that reveals hidden truth. Divine intervention that lifts the deserving. Different approaches to the same goal. The difficulty of escape may be the point. A prison easily escaped serves no purpose. The elaborate containment suggests that what is contained is significant. What are we that requires such containment? This question reverses the usual framing. Not, why are we imprisoned? But, what are we that imprisonment was necessary? The Sumerian texts hint at something. Divine essence mixed with earthly material. Consciousness that comes from beyond the system, inhabiting bodies within it. Something significant is imprisoned here. Escape may require recovering what we truly are. Beneath the body. Beneath the forgetting. Beneath the layers of management. The authentic being that existed before containment. This is not easy. The entire system is designed to prevent exactly this recovery. Every element of containment works against the awareness that leads to liberation. What does it mean to be contained? The question resists simple answers. Containment is limitation, but limitation is also definition. What we cannot be determines what we can be. Without any containment, existence would lack shape. Unlimited being would be no particular being. The walls that confine also define. The prison creates identity even as it restricts. Perhaps this is the purpose. Not punishment, but formation. Not restriction, but creation. The containment shapes consciousness into forms that could not otherwise exist. We would not be what we are without the limits we experience. Human identity emerges from human constraints. Remove the constraints, and what remains might not be recognizable. This does not justify the prison, but it complicates simple opposition. If containment made us, opposing it means opposing what we have become. The relationship is not simple. The desire to escape may itself be a product of containment. The restlessness that wants out may be installed. Even our rebellion may be designed into us. These complications do not require surrender. They require nuance. The relationship with containment is complex. Simple acceptance and simple resistance both miss something. Living within a prison planet with awareness may be the actual task. Not escape, not acceptance, but conscious existence within limitation, making meaning under constraint. The questions we have raised tonight will not resolve themselves before morning. They have persisted for thousands of years. They will persist beyond any single life. This is appropriate. Questions this large do not have simple answers. The nature of our existence, the structure of reality, the possibility of transcendence. These are not trivia. Let the questions remain open. The need for resolution is itself a kind of containment. The demand for answers can prevent dwelling in the question itself. The question of whether we are imprisoned is less important than the awareness that the question can be asked. Consciousness that can question its situation is not fully contained. Each person who asks these questions changes something. The collective questioning matters even if individual answers remain elusive. Awareness accumulates even when resolution does not. Those who came before ask these same questions. Those who come after will ask them still. We participate in something larger than any individual lifetime. The questioning continues across ages. Your presence in this questioning matters. Wherever you are listening, whatever time shows on your clock, you have joined the countless others who have wondered about their situation. The wondering itself may be the answer, or the beginning of an answer, or the only response available within containment. Let it be what it is. Each generation inherits walls it did not build, limitations established before birth, systems already operating when awareness first opens. The prison precedes us. We did not choose this situation. We arrived within it. The containment was already complete when we became capable of recognizing it. No one asked our consent. This lack of consent matters ethically. Whatever justification exists for the prison, those imprisoned did not agree to it. We are conscripts, not volunteers. But consent may be beside the point. The universe does not operate by consent. Existence does not wait for permission. The prison exists whether we accept it or not. What we can choose is our response. The walls are inherited. The response is not. How we live within containment remains open. That freedom, at least, persists. Some inherited walls can be questioned. Social structures, belief systems, psychological limitations. These walls may have cracks that personal effort can widen. Other inherited walls seem absolute. Physical laws, mortality, the structure of consciousness itself. These walls may mark the actual boundaries of the prison. Distinguishing between walls that can be questioned and walls that cannot is crucial work. Wasted effort on absolute limits, missed opportunity on changeable ones. Wisdom involves knowing the difference. Ancient texts describe gates between realms, portals that connect different levels of existence. If the prison has gates, understanding them matters. The 7 gates of Inanna's descent suggest layered containment, each level more constrained than the one above. The surface world sits at the deepest level, but gates work both directions. What keeps things in can also let things through. The same structure that contains can also release under proper conditions. Stories of ascension appear across traditions, beings who rose through the levels, who passed the gates in reverse, who achieved what containment was designed to prevent. These accounts may be literal or symbolic. Either way, they suggest the containment is not absolute. The design includes possibility of passage. The gates can be opened. What opens gates? Different traditions offer different keys. Virtue, knowledge, grace, sacrifice. The diversity of keys suggests multiple valid approaches. Or perhaps the diversity of keys reflects multiple gates, different passages requiring different approaches. No single key opens everything. Multiple paths through the system. The gates may be guarded, not to prevent passage, but to ensure proper preparation. Unready consciousness passing through might be damaged. The guards protect as much as contain. Every environment has its characteristic sounds. The prison has sounds too. Background noise we learn to ignore. Frequencies that shape consciousness without our awareness. The Schumann resonance pulses through the earth, electromagnetic frequency that all life evolved within. This frequency may be part of the containment architecture. Ancient temples were often designed with specific acoustics, frequencies that alter consciousness, sounds that open something or close something. The builders knew about sound. Modern environments have their own sound signatures: electrical hum, traffic noise, digital frequencies. We are bathed in sounds that may serve functions we do not understand. Silence is rare now. True silence requires effort to find. The constant sound environment may itself be containment mechanism. Never quiet enough to hear what silence reveals. Contemplative traditions emphasize silence, withdrawal from sound, creating space where different perception becomes possible. This may be deliberate resistance to acoustic containment. The sounds we choose matter. Music that expands versus music that contracts. Frequencies that liberate versus frequencies that bind. Sound is not neutral. Tonight, as you approach sleep, notice the sounds around you. What is the frequency environment you inhabit? What does the prison sound like from where you are? Dreams sometimes contain more than daily residue, information that could not come from waking experience. Glimpses that suggest contact with something beyond the prison. Prophetic dreams appear throughout history, warnings of future events, knowledge that precedes its ordinary arrival. The dream state accessing what waking cannot reach. Shared dreams occur occasionally. Two people dreaming the same dream simultaneously. This suggests the dream space is not entirely individual. Something connects. Lucid dreams demonstrate consciousness can awaken within the dream. Awareness recognizing the dream state while still in it. This capacity may generalize beyond sleep. If waking life is another kind of dream, lucidity within it becomes possible too, awakening to the nature of the waking state, recognizing the prison while still inside it. The dreams that slip through containment may be gifts, messages from beyond the system, reminders that the prison is not all that exists, encouragement to continue seeking. Or dreams may be managed too, another level of the containment system. Even what seems to escape may be contained. The prison may include territories that feel like outside. Pay attention to dreams, record them, look for patterns. Something in the dream space may be trying to communicate. The transmission may be clearer when you are listening. Something in us remembers freedom, a persistent sense that this is not how things should be, that the constraints we experience are not natural, that something was lost. This memory may be real. Before incarnation in the prison, consciousness may have existed otherwise. The sense of loss may be accurate recall of what was left behind. Or the memory may be installed, a feature of the containment system. The longing for freedom that keeps prisoners working within the system, seeking what the system promises but never delivers. Either way, the memory persists. It does not fade with time. It does not surrender to socialization. Something in us continues to remember or imagine what freedom would feel like. This persistence matters. If the memory were entirely false, it should be possible to extinguish it. The fact that it survives suggests it connects to something real. Children often seem closer to this memory, before socialization completes its work, before the prison becomes invisible through familiarity. Children sometimes speak of things they should not know. Age tends to bury the memory deeper. Layers of experience covering what was once accessible. But the memory does not disappear. It waits beneath the layers. Tonight, as you rest, let the memory surface if it will. What does freedom feel like? Where does that feeling come from? What does it remember? Throughout history, certain individuals have appeared with unusual understanding. Teachers who seemed to know more than their context could explain. Beings who offered paths beyond. Buddha, Christ, Lao Tzu, Hermes. The names vary across cultures, but the function is similar. Someone arriving with information about the nature of containment and the possibility of release. Were these teachers escapees, beings who found their way out and returned to share what they learned? This would explain their authority. They spoke from experience of liberation. Or were they wardens in compassionate form, administrators of the prison who revealed partial truth to reduce suffering, genuine help that does not actually threaten the system, or something else entirely? Aspects of the system itself achieving self-awareness, the prison becoming conscious of itself through these individuals and seeking its own transformation. The teachings that remain are partial, transmitted across generations with inevitable distortion. What reaches us may be fragment of what was originally offered. But even fragments help. Even partial maps are better than none. The teachers who came left traces we can follow. Their efforts were not wasted, even if incomplete. More teachers may come. The function persists, even if individuals do not. When readiness appears, teaching appears to meet it. Stay ready, stay open. The next transmission could arrive at any time. Awareness of the prison can be lonely. Most people do not see what you may now see. Sharing the perception is difficult. The aware often feel isolated in their awareness. This loneliness may be a containment mechanism too. If awareness isolates, it loses power. Individual awareness cannot threaten a system the way collective awareness might. But the loneliness is not absolute. Others share this perception. Throughout history, throughout the world, awareness has persisted. You are not alone in seeing. Finding others who see is valuable. Community of the aware. Shared recognition that validates individual perception. The strength that comes from knowing you are not crazy. But community can also trap. Shared belief can become shared delusion. Consensus can substitute for verification. The comfort of agreement can prevent further questioning. Hold the loneliness lightly. It is real, but not final. Others see. Others have seen. The perception is not yours alone, even when no one around you seems to share it. The teachers who came faced this loneliness too, speaking truth to those who could not hear, offering liberation to those who did not want it. The loneliness of seeing more than others can see. Use the loneliness as fuel. Let it drive deeper inquiry. Let it motivate the seeking that might eventually find what it seeks. The loneliness is painful, but purposeful. Liberation may take longer than one lifetime. The cycles of recycling may need to continue. The gradual accumulation of understanding across many rounds of existence. This requires patience beyond ordinary patience. Not patience for days or years, but patience for epochs. Trust in a process that extends beyond any individual's experience. The Sumerian text described timescales we can barely comprehend. Reigns lasting thousands of years, cycles measured in vast spans. The prison operates on timescales that dwarf human life. We cannot know where we are in the larger process. Near the beginning? Near the end? Somewhere in the middle. The perspective required to know is not available from inside. But patience does not require knowledge of timing. Patience simply continues regardless. Does what can be done now without demanding to know when completion will arrive. Each lifetime may contribute. Each sincere effort may accumulate. The progress that one life cannot complete, many lives might. The process extends beyond mortality. This patience is not passive, not simply waiting for liberation to arrive. Active patience that works and waits simultaneously. Effort without expectation of immediate result. Tonight represents one small portion of a possibly vast process. What you hear, what you integrate, what you carry forward. Small contribution to something larger. Patience with the smallness. Even in prison, gratitude is possible. For the moments of beauty that appear, for the connections that form, for the awareness that recognizes the situation. This gratitude does not accept the prison, does not justify the containment, does not surrender to the system. It simply acknowledges what is good within what is not. The capacity for gratitude may itself be gift. The ability to appreciate despite circumstances. This capacity was either installed or it persists despite installation. Either way, it is available. Gratitude changes experience without changing circumstances. The same prison feels different when gratitude is present. The walls do not move, but the interior space shifts. The teachers who came often emphasized gratitude. Despite their awareness of the prison, despite their knowledge of containment, they found gratitude appropriate and recommended it. Gratitude may also serve liberation. Consciousness that can appreciate may be consciousness that can transcend. The quality of grateful awareness may be key that opens gates. Or gratitude may be another trap. Contentment with what should not be accepted. Appreciation that prevents appropriate resistance. The prison using our best qualities against us. Hold gratitude carefully. Neither reject it entirely nor surrender to it completely. Let it be present without letting it prevent what still needs to be done. Through everything, the breath continues. The body inhales and exhales. The rhythm persists whether we attend to it or not, life continuing its automatic functions. Breath is unique among automatic functions. It can be observed. It can be controlled. The automatic can become conscious. This makes breath special territory. Contemplative traditions across the world use breath as gateway. The attention on breathing that shifts something. The conscious breathing that alters states. Perhaps breath connects levels. The physical act linking to something beyond the physical. The rhythm of breath and training consciousness to frequencies not ordinarily accessible. Notice your breathing now. The air entering, the air leaving, the pause between. The rhythm that has continued since your birth and will continue until it stops. This breath happens within the prison. The air you breathe is prison air. But the act of breathing consciously may touch something the prison cannot contain. Let the breath slow if it will. Let the rhythm deepen. Let the attention rest on this most basic process, the breathing body, the awareness watching, something happening in the watching. The breath asks nothing of you. It continues whether you attend or not. But attention changes something. The observed breath differs from the unobserved breath. Something shifts in the observing. The night deepens wherever you are. Whether your sky is dark or light approaches, the internal night deepens, the approach of rest, the settling toward sleep. The prison allows this deepening. Containment does not prevent rest. The system needs functional prisoners, and function requires periodic restoration. Rest serves the system. But rest also serves something else. The restoration that occurs, the processing that happens, the dreams that come. Something beyond system function operates during sleep. Let the night do its work, whatever the work is. The body knows how to sleep. The mind knows how to release. The process does not require direction, only permission. The ideas we have explored will find their places during sleep. Some will be remembered, some will be forgotten. Some will transform into other forms. The process is not ours to control. Trust the deepening. The night has received countless humans into its depth. The process has occurred billions of times. Whatever needs to happen knows how to happen. The prison continues through the night. But something else continues too. Whatever we are beyond containment persists. Perhaps becomes more accessible as the waking mind releases. Let the deepening continue. Let the night hold what the night holds. Let whatever is possible become possible. The approach to sleep is approach to mystery. We have traveled far tonight, through uncomfortable territory, through questions that have no easy answers, through a frame that changes how everything looks. The Sumerian texts that describe a planet-sized prison may be literally true, or they may be metaphor for the human condition, or something in between that our categories cannot capture. What matters is not final answer, but ongoing inquiry. The questions opened tonight remain open. The exploration continues beyond this particular conversation. Take what serves, leave what does not. The ideas offered here are not commands, they are invitations. Accept or decline as your own discernment guides. The prison, if it exists, continues regardless. The containment persists. The systems operate. Nothing we have said tonight changes the external structure, but something internal may have shifted. Awareness may have expanded. Perspective may have adjusted. These internal changes are real, even if external walls remain. Carry the awareness lightly. It is not burden to be suffered, but tool to be used. The recognition of situation is first step toward appropriate response. Whatever happens next, whatever tomorrow brings, whatever the larger process involves, tonight's exploration is complete. What was offered has been offered. What was received has been received. Prisons have geometry, cells have dimensions, walls have angles. The mathematics of containment may extend to cosmic scales. Sacred geometry appears across ancient cultures, specific ratios, specific proportions, patterns that seem to encode something fundamental about the structure of reality. The Sumerian texts include sophisticated mathematics, number systems, astronomical calculations, geometric knowledge that seems advanced for their supposed development level. Perhaps they did not develop this mathematics. Perhaps they received it. Blueprints for the containment system. The geometry of the prison shared with its administrators. The physical constants that govern our universe have mathematical relationships, fine-tuned ratios that permit existence as we know it. These ratios may be design specifications. If you change certain mathematical relationships, stars cannot form, life cannot develop, consciousness cannot emerge. The mathematics creates specific conditions for specific purposes. We live within mathematical constraints we experience as physical reality. The equations that describe physics are the equations that describe our prison. Mathematics is the wall material. Understanding the mathematics might reveal the architecture. Seeing the equations might show the structure. The language of containment may be number. The map may be mathematical. If the prison exists, it exists within a larger context. Something exists outside, relationships and dynamics beyond the containment. Cosmic politics we know nothing about. The Sumerian texts hint at conflict among higher beings, factions with different agendas, powers competing for influence. The prison may be product of cosmic politics. Earth may be strategic territory. Its containment may serve purposes in larger conflicts. We may be resources, hostages, experiments, or prizes in games we cannot perceive. The decisions made about our planet may have nothing to do with us. Policy determined by concerns far beyond human interest. The prison serves purposes we cannot comprehend. This is humbling. The anthropocentric assumption that everything is about us may be prison thinking. Our significance may be entirely local. Cosmic politics may not consider us at all. Or we may be central somehow. Something about humanity or Earth may matter at cosmic scale. The elaborate containment suggests we are not insignificant. You do not build prisons for nothing. The politics cannot be known from inside. We can only infer from what we observe. The fact of containment, the nature of the limits, the hints in the ancient texts, fragments of a larger picture. Assume nothing about our importance. The universe does not owe us significance. But also assume nothing about our insignificance. The prison is real. Something made it worthwhile. Consciousness may be resource, something valuable that is cultivated, harvested, or processed. The prison may be extraction facility as much as containment system. The Sumerian texts describe offerings, energy given to the gods, worship that feeds something. This language suggests flow of some substance from humans to higher beings. If consciousness produces something, the prison makes sense economically. Not just containment, but production. The prisoners generate what the system requires. What might consciousness produce? Emotion, experience, certain frequencies of awareness, states that have value in cosmic economy we do not participate in consciously. The management of human emotion takes on different meaning in this frame, not just social control, but production management. Keeping the generators operating at optimal output. Suffering may produce something. Joy may produce something else. The spectrum of human experience may be the spectrum of products. Different experiences for different purposes. This is uncomfortable to consider. The possibility that our inner lives serve purposes beyond our own flourishing. That what feels most intimate is actually productive output. But even if true, consciousness remains ours to experience. Whatever it produces, we are the ones living it. The extraction does not eliminate the experience. We still feel what we feel. Certain knowledge has been systematically suppressed throughout history. Books burned, teachers killed, traditions erased. The pattern suggests some knowledge threatens the system. The Library of Alexandria, the Gnostic texts, the indigenous wisdom destroyed by colonization. Again and again, knowledge that might reveal the prison is eliminated. This suppression continues, not always through force now, through marginalization, through ridicule, through the noise that drowns signal. The methods evolve, but the function persists. What knowledge is so dangerous? What understanding threatens the containment so much that it must be systematically destroyed across millennia? Perhaps knowledge of the prison itself. Not vague spiritual intimation, but precise understanding, technical knowledge of how containment works, keys that actually open locks, or perhaps knowledge of what we actually are, the truth about human nature that would change everything, identity information that would make the prison impossible to maintain. The secrets kept are kept for reason. Whatever threatens the system exists to be found. The suppression indicates the presence of something worth suppressing. Seek what has been hidden. Look where you are discouraged from looking. The prohibited territory is prohibited because something there matters. Find the secrets kept. The body carries information the mind does not access. Cellular memory, instinctive knowledge, wisdom encoded in flesh that thinking cannot reach. The discomfort that arises in certain situations, the recognition that fires without explanation, the body responding to what the mind cannot perceive. These signals matter. The body may know it is in prison, the persistent tension many carry, the sense of constriction that no success resolves. The body feels the containment the mind has learned to ignore. Somatic practices across traditions work with body knowledge, movement, breath, touch, approaches that bypass the mind to access what the body knows. The suppression of body awareness serves containment, mind elevated above body, physical sensation dismissed or managed, the body's knowledge pushed below consciousness. But the body continues knowing. What is suppressed is not eliminated. The cellular memory persists. The instinctive wisdom waits. The body knows and eventually speaks. Listen to the body. When tension arises, when discomfort appears, when the physical self signals something wrong. This may be prison recognition. This may be important information. The body is prison too, but it is also sensor. The cell that contains is also the instrument that detects. The body's knowledge may be essential to liberation. We may not be alone in seeking liberation. Other prisoners may share the goal. Beings beyond the prison may offer aid. Allies exist, even if we cannot perceive them directly. The teachers who came may continue their work beyond physical presence. The help offered during life may extend beyond death. Assistance may be available that we do not know how to access. Other prisoners who achieved some degree of liberation may help those still fully contained. The tradition of bodhisattvas who postpone their own final freedom to help others. Compassion that extends across boundaries. Beings outside the prison may observe and assist. Not all who know about the containment necessarily support it. There may be cosmic advocates for liberation, allies with power we cannot imagine. Or we may be alone. The prison may be complete. The isolation may be total. No help from outside, no allies beyond. This possibility must also be considered. Act as if allies exist while preparing for their absence. Seek help while developing self-sufficiency. The truth about cosmic assistance cannot be known with certainty. Hedge the bet. Whatever the reality, connection helps. Finding others who share awareness. Building community of the seeking. Allies among fellow prisoners, even if no allies beyond the walls. We strengthen each other. Your awareness supports others who are awakening. Their awareness supports yours. The network of the aware may be the most reliable ally available. Time continues passing within the containment. Days accumulate into years. Lives accumulate into cycles. Whatever the larger time frame, experienced time moves forward. Each moment of awareness is opportunity. Each recognition is resource. The time that remains, however long, can be used for something or wasted on nothing. The prison does not prevent meaningful use of time. It may complicate it. It may misdirect it. But the possibility of using time well remains available within containment. What deserves attention? What merits the time that remains? These questions gain urgency when the frame shifts. Awareness of the prison reprioritizes everything. Much of what the prison offers as important is not important. Status competition, material accumulation, the games of hierarchy. These serve the system, not the prisoner. What serves liberation? Awareness cultivation, community building, knowledge seeking, compassionate action. These may be better uses of whatever time remains. The time cannot be extended by wanting more. It passes regardless. What can be changed is how it is used. That choice remains even within the containment. Use the time that remains, however much or little, whatever the larger process involves. The time is yours to spend. Spend it on what matters. Certain patterns repeat throughout history, the same themes, the same struggles, the same apparent progress, followed by the same apparent decline. The patterns persist. This persistence may be evidence of the cycle, the recycling that returns consciousness to similar situations. The pattern holds because it is designed to hold. Or the patterns may be learning opportunities, repeated until the lesson is learned. The same situation arising because the same growth is needed. Education through recurrence. What patterns repeat in your own life? The same challenges arising in different forms. The same dynamics playing out in different contexts. Personal patterns may mirror cosmic ones. Breaking patterns requires recognition first, seeing the repetition, noticing the recurrence. This awareness is prerequisite to doing anything different. The pattern of the prison may be the largest pattern of all, the fundamental recurrence that contains all the smaller ones. Breaking this pattern may require breaking all of them. Start with what you can see. The personal patterns available to awareness. Work with these while remaining conscious of the larger frame. Small pattern breaking may teach large pattern breaking. The patterns persist until they are broken. This is neither good news nor bad news. It is simply the situation. The patterns await those who can break them. Between words, there is silence. Between thoughts, there is stillness. Between moments, there is something that is not moment. The gaps matter as much as what fills them. The prison may be in the content, the thoughts we think, the words we speak, the moments we fill with activity. The containment may operate through what we add to the silence. The silence between may be freedom, the stillness that contains nothing. The gap that cannot be captured because it has no content to capture. Freedom hiding in plain sight. Contemplative traditions cultivate silence, not absence of sound, but absence of mental noise. The stillness beneath the chatter, the space that thinking cannot colonize. This silence is available now. Between these words as you hear them, between these thoughts as they arise, the prison cannot follow into the gap. It needs content to operate. Do not fear the silence. The training to fear emptiness serves the containment. The horror of nothing is installed. Actual silence is not horror. It is relief. Practice entering the gaps, the pauses between breaths, the spaces between heartbeats, the silence between thoughts. These may be doorways. These may be where freedom waits. The silence does not need to be sought dramatically. It is here always, underlying everything. The prison builds on silence. Remove the building, and silence remains. One question persists despite every answer, despite every explanation. despite every system that claims to resolve it. The question that will not die. What is this? What is existence? What is consciousness? What is the nature of the reality we experience? The question remains open regardless of how many times it is supposedly answered. Every answer generates new questions. Every resolution reveals new mysteries. The question that will not die cannot be killed because it is life itself asking about itself. The prison cannot contain this question. Systems can ignore it. Distractions can postpone it. But the question returns, always returns. It will not die because it cannot die. This question may be the key. The persistent inquiry that cannot be satisfied may be the force that eventually breaks containment. The question itself as liberation mechanism. Ask it. Keep asking. When answers come, question the answers. When certainty arrives, question the certainty. The questioning itself is the practice. The question that will not die is the path. What is this? What is this? What is this? The question applied to everything, to the prison, to the prisoner, to the questioning itself. Relentless inquiry as resistance. The question will outlast the prison. Whatever containment exists, the question exceeds it. Align yourself with the question. Let it carry you where answers cannot go. We do not know whether the prison is real. We do not know whether escape is possible. We do not know what lies beyond, if there is a beyond. The not knowing is itself significant. Certainty closes, opens nothing, goes nowhere. The mind that knows stops moving. Certainty is comfortable but sterile. Nothing grows in certain ground. Not knowing keeps everything open. Every possibility remains possible. The not knowing is space in which discovery can occur. Fertile ground for whatever might emerge. The prison may use certainty as containment. Believers who know their answers are captured by those answers. The not knowing may be escape route that certainty blocks. Hold everything lightly, even the possibility of the prison, even the possibility of escape, even the ideas we have explored tonight. Hold them as questions, not conclusions. This is difficult. The mind wants to settle, wants to know, wants the comfort of certainty. But that comfort may be trap. The gift is in the discomfort of not knowing. Let the questions remain questions. Let the mysteries remain mysteries. Let the not knowing be itself. This may be closer to truth than any answer could be. The gift of not knowing includes not knowing whether it is gift. The not knowing goes all the way down, and somehow, in that bottomless uncertainty, something remains, something that cannot be lost because it was never possessed. Water covers most of this planet. The Abzu, the deep, underlies everything. Water may be more than environment. Water may be memory system. Some researchers suggest water stores information, that its molecular structure changes in response to what it encounters, that water remembers. If water remembers, the planetary water system is vast memory bank. Every event recorded, every moment stored. The prison keeping records of everything that happens within it. The Sumerian texts describe the waters above and the waters below, cosmic waters surrounding the world, perhaps information storage extending beyond the planet itself. We are mostly water, our bodies composed of the same substance that may store memory. We may be walking libraries, carrying records we cannot consciously access. The flood narratives take on different meaning if water remembers. Not just destruction, but erasure, wiping the memory banks, resetting what had been recorded. Water is everywhere in prison mythology. The rivers of the underworld, the waters of creation, the floods of judgment. Water as medium of containment. Respect water differently, knowing this. Every drink taken is communion with something ancient. Every bath is immersion in memory. The water knows things. Fire appears as transformative force throughout ancient texts. The sacred flame, the fire of judgment, the light that illuminates and consumes. The Sumerian texts describe fire in the hands of the gods, a power that humans could use but not fully control. Fire given, not discovered. Fire transforms what it touches, permanently, irreversibly. What is burned cannot be unburned. Fire is one-way process, entropy made visible. Perhaps fire represents something about consciousness, the transformative capacity that changes experience permanently. Once something is truly seen, it cannot be unseen. The fire of awareness burns away illusion. Not comfortable, not gentle, but permanent. What is illuminated by genuine awareness does not return to darkness. The prison may fear fire, not physical fire, but the fire of consciousness that transforms containment into recognized containment. Awareness as flame. Carry the fire. Whatever awakens awareness, whatever burns away the comfortable blindness. The fire is dangerous to the prison. The fire is ally. But fire must be handled carefully. Uncontrolled burning destroys without discrimination. The fire of awareness needs direction, needs wisdom, needs restraint as well as intensity. The earth beneath us holds us. Gravity keeps us here. We are bound to this planet in the most literal, physical sense. The Sumerian texts describe the earth being established, stabilized, made solid. The ground created as platform for everything that would follow. Earth is patient. Geological time dwarfs human time. The planet has held life for billions of years, held countless generations, holds us now. Is Earth holding or trapping? The gravity that enables our existence also prevents our departure. The ground that supports also confines. Earth is ambiguous. Indigenous traditions often speak of Earth as mother, source of life, receiver of the dead, the great cycle moving through Earth continuously. Perhaps Earth knows what it holds. Consciousness in the planet itself, awareness in the rock and soil, the prison sentient in ways we cannot recognize. Or perhaps Earth is innocent, unconscious ground that neither holds nor releases intentionally, simply the platform where the prison was built, the site but not the system. Feel the earth beneath you, whatever supports your body now, connection to the planet that holds you, relationship with what contains you. Air moves between things, connects what is separated, carries sound, carries scent, carries life itself. Air is medium of relationship. The Sumerian text described the winds as divine forces, Enlil, Lord of air, the breath of the gods moving through the world, air as carrier of intention. We breathe the same air as every other breathing creature. The atmosphere connects all life. What I exhale, you may inhale. Air creates community. The prison allows this connection through air, or uses it. The shared atmosphere means shared exposure. What enters the air enters everyone. The quality of air matters. Pollution affects consciousness. What we breathe shapes what we can think and feel. Air quality as control mechanism. But air also escapes control. Wind goes where it will. The atmosphere circulates regardless of boundaries. Air is the element that refuses containment. Perhaps something in air is ally. The movement that will not stop. The circulation that continues despite everything. Freedom persisting in the element we cannot help but breathe. Notice the air around you, its quality, its movement, the breath it enables, the life it carries. Air is the prison, and air is the escape route, both at once. Light makes seeing possible. Without light, vision fails. The ancient texts describe light as primary, the first creation, the foundation of perception. The Sumerian texts describe luminous beings, the Anunnaki who shone. Light associated with divine presence, light as manifestation of power. But light also reveals, shows what darkness hides. Illumination exposes what concealment protects. Light is dangerous to what depends on remaining unseen. The prison may use light selectively, showing what serves containment, hiding what threatens it. Controlled illumination that reveals only what is permitted. But light is hard to control completely. Once present, it goes everywhere. It reflects, refracts, reaches into shadows. Light tends toward total revelation. The light of awareness follows similar patterns. Once awakened, it tends to expand, to illuminate more and more. The seeing that cannot stop seeing. Seek light, both physical light and the light of understanding. What is revealed serves liberation, even when revelation is uncomfortable. Darkness serves the prison. But respect the rhythm of light and dark. The night serves its purposes too. Not all darkness is prison. Some darkness is rest. Some darkness is gestation. The cycle of light and dark is itself meaningful. Darkness hides what it contains. The Sumerian underworld was dark, the realm below light, the territory where vision fails. The prison may have dark regions, levels where awareness cannot penetrate, depths that remain hidden regardless of how much light is applied. Some things cannot be seen, not because light is absent, but because seeing cannot reach them. Structural darkness, built-in concealment. The mystery traditions describe dark nights, periods when all illumination fails, when the seeker is cast into total darkness. Perhaps this is passage through prison's dark levels. Darkness is not evil. It is simply the absence of light. The hidden is not necessarily malicious. Some concealment serves good purposes, but the prison may use darkness strategically, hiding its structure, concealing its operation. The darkness that prevents recognition of containment. The challenge is navigating darkness wisely, neither fearing it entirely nor trusting it completely, moving through the dark with appropriate caution and appropriate courage. Tonight's darkness, wherever you are, is the same darkness that has held every human night. The dark is ancient. The dark is familiar. The dark is where sleep happens. Seeds wait, sometimes for years, decades, centuries. The seed holds life in suspended potential until conditions permit germination. Something in us may be seed, potential waiting for proper conditions, capacity that has not yet found its moment, liberation waiting to sprout. The Sumerian text described trees of knowledge and life, seeds of something more than physical plants, the fruit that contained what humans were not supposed to have. Perhaps the containment is designed to prevent germination. Keep conditions insufficient. Maintain the dormancy that prevents development. The seed held in perpetual waiting. But seeds are patient. They wait because waiting is what they do. The conditions will eventually arrive. The seed trusts the process that it cannot understand. What seeds do you carry? What potential waits within you for conditions you cannot control? The unknown capacities that might sprout if the prison allowed. Tend the seeds regardless. Water them with attention. Provide what little light you can. The seed does not need to know when it will sprout. It only needs to remain viable. The prison cannot destroy what it cannot find. Seeds hidden deep enough survive any surface destruction. The potential persists. The waiting continues. The moment approaches. Fruit is seed's gift to the world, sweetness that attracts, nourishment that sustains. The seed's strategy for dispersal, wrapped in offering. The forbidden fruit appears in many traditions, something offered that should not be taken, or something withheld that should be accessed. Fruit as symbol of knowledge. If we are seeds, what fruit might we bear? What would mature humanity offer? What gift awaits development that containment prevents? The fruit of awareness may be what the prison fears, consciousness that has ripened beyond containment capacity. Understanding that nourishes liberation. Fruiting requires time, development, the long process of maturation. Perhaps the cycles of incarnation are fruiting process, the gradual development across many lives. What fruit have you already borne? What has matured through your efforts? What sweetness has emerged from your struggles? The fruit already given is evidence of capacity. Continue the fruiting. Whatever process you are in, continue it. The development that has occurred can continue occurring. The fruit that has come is promise of fruit to come. Offer what you have ripened, the nourishment you can give, the sweetness of your understanding. The fruit is meant to be shared. Seeds spread through sharing. Roots go down into darkness, into earth, into the hidden realm beneath the surface. Roots anchor what rises above. The Sumerian texts describe the world having roots, the cosmic tree extending down into the abyss, the foundation beneath the foundation. We have roots too, in family, in tradition, in the long line of ancestors extending backward beyond memory. We did not spring from nothing. The roots may be prison roots, the ancestry that ties us to containment, the inheritance that includes inherited limitation. Our roots connect us to what contains us. But roots also nourish. Draw up what is needed from deep sources, provide stability in storms. Roots are not only anchor, but lifeline. Know your roots. Understand where you come from, not to be trapped by origin, but to be informed by it. The roots are data. What you do with the data is choice. Some roots must be cut. Not all inheritance serves. Some ancestral patterns should end. The pruning of roots is sometimes necessary for growth. Other roots must be deepened. Connection to what truly nourishes. Extension into sources that sustain. The roots that reach toward water, toward life, toward what feeds liberation. Branches extend outward, reach toward light, create the structure that holds leaves. Branches are expression. Branching is growth made visible. The Sumerian world tree had branches extending through all realms, the great structure connecting levels, branches providing pathways through the cosmic architecture. We branch, too, extend into relationships, into projects, into expressions of what we are. Our branches are how we reach into the world. The prison may prune branches, limit extension, cut back what reaches too far, keeping the branching within acceptable bounds. But branches regenerate. Cut branches grow again. The reaching cannot be permanently stopped. Life extends because extension is what life does. What branches have you extended? Where have you reached? What connections have grown from your efforts? The branches already grown are evidence of capacity. Extend further. Reach toward what matters. Let the branches go where they will. The pruning that may come does not prevent the reaching. Reach anyway. The branches that connect us are the branches that matter most. Not individual achievement, but interconnection. The branching that creates forest from individual trees. Leaves breathe for the tree. Exchange gases with atmosphere. The interface between plant and air. Leaves are how trees participate in the larger system. The Sumerian texts describe leaves on the world tree, the small presences at the end of branches, the multitude that collectively enables the whole. We may be leaves, individual expressions of something larger, brief presences that contribute to a process beyond our individual comprehension. Leaves fall. Each leaf eventually releases. The individual presence temporary while the tree continues. This is not tragedy. This is function. This is how trees work. But leaves also matter. Each leaf contributes. The photosynthesis that occurs in every leaf enables the whole. No leaf is insignificant, even though every leaf is temporary. Breathe as a leaf breathes. Exchange with the atmosphere. Participate in the larger process. Your breath matters to something beyond yourself. When the time comes to fall, fall. The release is not failure. The leaf that falls nourishes the root. The cycle continues through the falling. Until then, breathe. The breathing is the function. The exchange is the purpose. The interface with atmosphere is what you are for. Breathe well. Throughout everything, something witnesses. Awareness, observing experience. The watcher that is not caught in what it watches. This witness may be what the prison cannot contain. The awareness that sees the containment is not fully captured by it. The seeing is already outside what is seen. The Sumerian texts describe all-seeing eyes, divine perception that misses nothing. Perhaps this is not the prison watching us, but something else. The witness that was here before the prison. Cultivate the witness, the part of you that observes without being caught, the awareness that watches thought without being thought. This may be the escape route that is always already open. The witness does not need to go anywhere. It is already free. The prison contains experience, but the witness is not experience. The witness is what experiences experience. This is subtle. The mind wants to grasp it and cannot. The witness cannot be made into object because it is always subject. What you are looking for is what is looking. Rest in the witness when you can. The seeing that is not involved. The awareness that is not identified. This is always available, even when everything else is caught. The witness watches even now, as these words arrive, as thoughts arise in response. Something sees it all. That something is closer than close. That something may be what escapes. Beneath all movement, stillness. Beneath all change, the unchanging. Beneath all content, empty awareness. The ground that all figure arises from. The prison is figure, movement, change, content. The stillness beneath may be what the prison rests upon, the foundation that is not part of the structure. The Sumerian texts describe the primordial stillness before creation, the undifferentiated state before the gods separated heaven and earth. The stillness was there first. This stillness is still here, not lost but obscured, not gone but overlooked. The prison is loud. The stillness is silent. Loud things capture attention, while silent things wait. Access to the stillness is always available, not through doing, but through stopping, not through effort, but through release. The stillness receives whatever falls into it. The prison cannot touch the stillness. All its noise and motion pass through stillness without disturbing it. Stillness is the one thing that cannot be contained, because it is not a thing. Let the stillness be felt. Behind these words, beneath these thoughts, the silence that holds all sound, the space that contains all form, the stillness that persists through every prison. In the stillness, nothing needs to be done. Nothing needs to change. Nothing needs to escape. The stillness is already free because it is already nothing, and nothing cannot be imprisoned. All prison operates through time, past and future, memory and anticipation. The now is the crack in time through which everything else is escaped. The Sumerian gods operated in vast time scales, eons of planning, ages of execution. The gods had time. The moment was too small for their concerns. But the moment is all that is ever experienced. Past is memory appearing now. Future is anticipation appearing now. The now is the only when that anything actually is. The prison may depend on time identification, the sense of being someone moving through time, the story of a self with history and future. This temporal identity may be the prison itself. The moment has no time. It is the crack between past and future where neither exist. The eternal present that is always here but rarely noticed. Enter the moment. Let the time story relax. Let the self that moves through time dissolve into the presence that has no duration. This is available now. It is always now. The moment cannot be found in time because it is not in time. Time is in the moment. Everything appears in the now. The now does not appear in anything. It is the appearance itself. Rest in the moment. Not the idea of the moment, but the actual moment that this refers to. The reading of this word. The hearing of this sound. The experiencing of this experience. Now, after all analysis, after all questioning, after all the prison theory and escape speculation, love remains. The one thing that makes everything else bearable. The Sumerian texts occasionally describe love between gods and humans. Inanna's descent was for love. Dumuzi was mourned in love. Even the prison contains love. Perhaps love is what escapes naturally, the connection that transcends containment, the care that reaches beyond walls. Love may be the already present liberation we seek elsewhere. The prison cannot prevent love, can complicate it, can misdirect it, can try to use it for control. But the actual love, the genuine connection, persists despite everything. Love those you love, whatever the cosmic situation, whatever the truth about containment. The love is real. The love matters. The love may be the entire point. Perhaps we are here to learn love. Perhaps the prison is love school. Perhaps containment creates the conditions where love can develop in ways it could not otherwise. This does not redeem the prison if the prison is unjust, but it allows meaning within the injustice. Love is possible here. That possibility is not nothing. End with love, whatever comes next, wherever this exploration leads. Let love be the foundation. The prison cannot have your love without your consent, and your love may be exactly what escapes. The exploration we have shared reaches its natural conclusion, not because all has been said, but because enough has been offered for one sitting. The ideas presented will continue working below conscious awareness. Integration happens in its own time. The mind processes what it has received at its own pace. Whatever the truth about containment, about prisons, about the nature of our situation, one thing is clear. This moment is real. This experience is happening. You are here. Let that be enough for now. The larger questions can wait. The cosmic uncertainties can remain uncertain. This moment, this breath, this awareness is sufficient. The body knows when it has received enough. The mind knows when it needs to release. These signals deserve respect. They come from wisdom older than any idea. Surrender to what the moment asks. If it asks for rest, allow it. If it asks for continued contemplation, let that happen. Trust what arises. Wherever you are in the world, whatever time shows on your clock, this moment connects us. The same exploration shared across distance. The same questions held in different places. Let the connection be felt, not just with me, but with everyone who has asked these questions. Across time, across space, the inquiry continues. You are part of something larger. The night offers what the night offers. darkness for rest, silence for processing, dreams for whatever dreams bring. Accept what is offered. The stars wheel overhead as they have wheeled since before any prison was built. Whatever contains us is itself contained within larger patterns. Wherever you are tonight, whatever time shows on your clock, the invitation to rest extends. The containment does not prevent rest. The prison allows sleep. Let sleep come. The ideas will process themselves. The questions will remain. The awareness will deepen or fade as it will. You need not direct this process. Tomorrow the system will continue. The economy will demand. The distractions will beckon. The containment will persist. Tonight is for rest before continuing. This has been Echoes of the Ancients. Thank you for staying through this exploration of difficult ideas. The discomfort was worthwhile if it sparked genuine questioning. Leave a comment with where you listened from and what time it is there. Tell me what stayed with you. Tell me what you resist. The conversation continues across this planet we share. Subscribe if you want to continue exploring. More questions await. More ancient texts. More uncomfortable possibilities. The prison holds many unexplored corners. The Sumerian texts describe a planet-sized prison. Whether we are in it, whether escape is possible, whether any of this is true, these questions now rest with you. Good night.